Hello everyone, George DeSantis here with the look at the market for the week ending June 2nd, 2017. Um, Before we begin, as usual, we need to take a look at the disclaimer. Trading and investing has large potential rewards and large potential risks. So this video presentation is designed for educational purposes only and is not a solicitation or advice to buy or sell any securities or other tradable instruments. You must be aware of the risks and be willing to accept them in order to invest in the markets. So consult a licensed professional investment advisor for investment advice, since I am not one. Let's begin by looking at some charts. So let's begin by looking at a weekly chart of the S&P 500, just to get a sense of the bigger picture as to whether we are in an uptrend, downtrend, what does the trend look like. And first of all, we can see that the moving averages are one above the other. The 4, the 9, the 30. The parabolic is below the most recent bar. So the trend is definitely up, as we can imagine by just looking at the news, financial news. We can see Williams percent R is way above the 20% line, and therefore it's indicating strong momentum. Now, interesting, MACD histogram has been trending up from below the zero line, and now it just flipped above the zero line, which means that the bulls are in charge. And the Shaikin money flow, which indicates buying pressure, continues to trend up. So the weekly chart is looking really strong, maybe a little overbought, as I'm going to show you later on, but we still have a very nice strong trend. Let's take a look at a daily chart. On the daily chart, similarly, we have the moving averages one above the other from the shorter period to the longer period. Parabolic is below the most recent bar, and so again, this is just simply indicating that we have a nice uptrend here. Look at MACD histogram on the daily chart. We can see that it definitely crossed above the zero line. Bulls are in charge, and the Shaikin money flow by indicating buying pressure, very strong. So that's the general market. Now we might turn to some individual stocks, as I've been doing recently. We'll start with some of the ones that I own first of all, and then we'll go on to a few other ones that look interesting. So we'll start off with a couple of ETFs that I own, and here's a weekly chart of the XLK, which is the SPDR Select Sector Technology ETF. And of course, since the technology sector has been doing so well, we would have expected this weekly chart to look like it did. This thing has been up about 20%, 20-21% since we bought it. Williams, you could see, is above the 20% line, and we have MACD trending up here. Money flow looks pretty strong. So let's look at another one. Here's an ETF of the international stocks, the iShares of international stocks. Many commentators are saying that the international markets are doing quite well, the European market, etc. And this is an international one. I'm assuming that it holds a number of the European stocks in it. I haven't checked that honestly, but anyway, it still looks pretty strong. I own it. I am not selling it. It has some nice looking chart here with money flow and MACD trending up nicely. So let's look at something else. And here's a weekly chart of consumer discretionary companies or stocks. And this one looks similarly nice uptrend here, see, for the year. And so I own this one too, and I expect it to continue to do well as long as the market continues to go up. And here's a chart of NVIDIA, a weekly chart. We can see this recent move was quite a move here. Parabolic drop below the current bars. And of course, the price was riding the upper Bollinger Band, which is the 3 standard deviation band, that yellow one. So this is a pretty powerful move here. It's become overbought. It's showing overbought on the volatility chart that I use on Best Choice software. MACD is now above zero, And the one thing that seems a little perplexing is that Chaikin money flow has dropped quite a bit. But it's one of those things that I'm holding because I like the story, I like the sector they're in, etc. So I'm not going to be trading it, but not be surprised if there's a pullback here. Let's take a look at another one. And here's the ETF of the IBD 50, the growth stocks. I like this chart very, very much. There's a weekly chart, and look at the way Williams percentile is situated, right above the 20% line. This thing is really moving very nicely. For the year, it's been up nicely. And I like the fact that MACD has been trending up so much. And Shaikin, money flow. Money is coming in. There's buying pressure here. So I like this one a lot. I bought some. I might add to it. Uh, let's take a look at some. And here's the one stock that is in the red for me, Berkshire Hathaway. This is daily chart. It's easier to see what's happening here on the daily chart. We made a low of about 161.62, and then what you could see here is that the four weighted exponential moving average, the yellow line, crossed above the 9 exponential moving average, and they both now are above the 30 weighted moving average. So apparently this thing has bottomed out, and we are now having somewhat of a move up. That's encouraging. Williams percentile meandered along the 50% line, and now it seems to be getting ready to make a more concerted move up. And MACD is looking a lot better here. Of course, some money is coming in here as well. So maybe I'll get rescued. Let's take a look at another one. So how about Facebook? Here's a weekly chart of Facebook. We had a bit of a consolidation here, pullback after this nice move up, and then we have another move up again. So the stock is performing very nicely here. The trend is up, of course. You can see the 3 trend lines as usual, and percentile above 20. MACD still looking strong, no divergence. It's pulled back a little bit here, but money keeps coming in, and in fact, it's increasing. It's my biggest holding, except for Berkshire. So I am very encouraged by this. And here is our friend Apple. A weekly chart of Apple shows us the trend is up. The trend lines above each other from the shorter term to the longer term. Trend is up. Parabolic below the most recent bar. Um, uh, Percentile is looking pretty good, pretty strong. Momentum is pretty strong. And MACD above the zero line, and the money is still coming in. So money flow is looking strong. Let's look at the daily chart, because we can see what happened here is that the market, we took this nice run up here in Apple, pulled back here, and then consolidated for a bit. But on Friday, we went up $2.27, or 1.5%. So that's very encouraging for Apple. What I own here is some calls, the 155 calls going out August 18. So let's hope that this will continue to perform well. Here is Microsoft, a weekly chart. Microsoft, I just thought of the fact that Microsoft is starting to look like it did back in the 80s and 90s. Look at this nice uptrend here, and parabolic below the most recent bar. I like this move up here last week, and we can see MACD trending up nicely, and money, the money flow, the buying pressure is pretty strong here. So Microsoft is benefiting a lot from some of the major moves they made in it by providing cloud services, etc., I believe. So good one to own. I think I own it. I might add to it. Here's another one I own, which is Netflix. And of course, we see a similar kind of a very powerful uptrend here. And last week it was up nicely. On Friday, I believe it went up $2.19. So yes, on Friday it had a nice move. If we go back to the weekly chart, we can see that percentile is just above the 20% line. MACD is continuing to trend up, and money, the buying pressure is pretty strong here. So I like that. It's a long-term play for me, I believe. I'm not going to rush to sell it anytime soon. Here's a weekly chart of NiSource, which is a regulated gas utility company, and it pays a small dividend too. However, we can see that once this trend got going here, in the early part of the year, it went up nicely. And so now it's trading around 26.35. We've got a target of 27, which is 3 standard deviations. So I'm getting ready to sell this. It wouldn't take long for me to get rid of it because it tends to pull back. See what it did here last year? That it does that almost just about every year. Pull back for the second half of the year. So I'm taking my money off the table on this one pretty soon. And here is Visa, another one I own. You can see that nice uptrend since January. And we have parabolic below the most recent bar. We have all these other 3 indicators: momentum, percentile, MACD, and Schiken money flow, all looking pretty good. So we hold this one, Visa. Take a look at something else. So a stock I like a lot, but don't currently own it, is Home Depot, and you can see this nice move for the year. And right now it's pulled back a bit toward the 9 EMA. I'd like to show you something else concerning Home Depot. Let me bring up another chart that I could show you something else. So I said I would show you a chart concerning Home Depot. This is a chart from Best Choice Software, which I own. You can see here, what it shows us here is the 3-line chart, the regression channel. And what we see here is that price and earnings are steadily climbing, sort of parallel to each other. You can see that price is growing at 13%, 13.3, earnings at 18.5 over this 2-year period. The PE is 23, looks high, but it's been that way for a while. So look at the steady growth of earnings. This is something that you want to see in a stock that you want to hold for any length of time. So if we take a look at a 6-month chart, what we see is that, let's put it on a daily. On the daily chart, this is a 6-month period, you can see that price is now at the lower band. So there's a chance we're going to get a bit of a rally from here. However, let's take a look at the seasonals, and you'll see why I hesitate to buy it right here. Although, as we look at the seasonals, if I swipe here, we'll see that the best time to buy this stock is November 20th to December 6th. It's really designed for option traders. So you get the fastest move over a short period of time. The average profit during that time is about 5.93%. And you get 11 years, 100% of the time, it's a winner. The yellow line here is a composite of the last 11 years. And each one of these green lines represents 1 year, like 2004, 2005. So what becomes obvious here is that the best time to be buying Home Depot is in late October, early November, and hold it all the way through May. So that's really what I wanted to show you on Home Depot. We're coming to the end of the video, so I just want to. So let's summarize. In summary then, we saw on the weekly charts of the S&P and so on, the market is still very bullish. We'll take what the market gives us, trade what we see. We don't listen to all the talking heads or even worry about the political shenanigans. We just trade what we see, and we make as much money as we can doing that. Have a nice weekend. I hope you had a good weekend. Bye-bye.